threat of disaster is never pleasant.
Welcome to the Casual Preppers podcast.
These safety measures are essential.
The only place for prepping, survival, and entertainment.
This will be your source of survival instructions and information. Every member of the family must be coached in the business of survival.
Here are your hosts, Cam and Kobe.
Episode 117. Cameron.
Yeah.
How's your week been, Cam?
Oh, same old.
Same old.
Detecting more and more virus.
Yeah, you got virus all over the place, don't you?
Yeah, we do.
Don't be bringing it in here.
What did you say?
Like, who's using this mic next? That type of thing.
I'm telling you, we need to move to the little voice box microphones. We can't talk to spread virus.
That's funny.
Those
Cam,
should be making a killing right now.
what are we talking about today? Tell me. Tell me.
We're talking about how to
You got to look it up.
prepare. What's the title we settled on?
Prepping with a family.
Yeah.
How's that?
We always get people asking, how do I get my family involved? What do I do if my wife hates me and prepping?
Yeah.
Can't help you with the first part.
Number 1, get divorced. Number 2, start prepping on your own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're just going to talk about how to kind of prepare with these different types of family members.
Yeah, and then also, like you said, one of the biggest questions we get all the time is, how do I get my family on board? We're going to talk about that a little bit, but that's just a piece of it all, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But before we get rolling, I got to tell you about BattleBox, Cam. They're my fave.
They're incredible.
Yes. BattleBox, it's the monthly subscription box for men, full of solid gear for adventure seekers, survivalists, outdoor enthusiasts, and casual preppers. Each month, BattleBox sends you the coolest selection of handpicked outdoor survival and everyday carry gear, all valued at far more than what you normally pay. You never know what's in the next box. But here's a sampling of what users received this month, and we have the box right here. The Lord and Field wool blanket.
Lord and Field.
Oh, Lord, it looks great, too. It really does. It's a cool blanket.
Sneak peek.
Yeah, sneak peek.
Look at that. Look, it's even got Republican and Democrat stripes on there.
Yeah. Put them together, you get purple. And then we also got the Coleman Deluxe Perfect Flow Lantern with hard case. That's the thing. You got to have the case.
The hard case.
Because if you don't have the hard case, it just breaks all over the place. All of this badassness starts at about $30 a month. They've shipped almost 1 million boxes and won Best Men's Subscription Box of 2017. Our listeners get a free tactical knife when you sign up at trybattlebox.com/casualpreppers. That is trybattlebox.com/casualpreppers. Get your first battle box plus a free knife at trybattlebox.com/casualpreppers. Just a word again, that knife will come in a separate shipment. And if it doesn't, send them an email and tell them that we sent you, because you gotta get it. I don't know what that is.
Prostate exam.
Yeah. Bend over, Cameron.
Stop toying with the thought and just get a battle box.
Oh, I like that. That's like the new slogan.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Like, I have so many people like, are they worth it?
Yeah.
You know, I get texts. I'm like, just get it and
Are
see.
they worth it?
They're freaking great.
I love about the nerds texting you.
Is it a good box?
well, scientifically, I'm not sure if this is right or not. Should I get
When
it?
are they going to release the microchip box or the computer gaming box?
I want the pocket protector box, please.
But
Anyways.
Listener reviews starts now.
So I'm gonna read this one because it kind of digs on Cam. It's awesome.
Butthole.
Is it just me? ? 5 stars, Cam. Listen, 5 stars. Okay. Awesome podcast. That's great. What are you worried about? Oh, the next part. Is it just me, or does it sound like Cam has at least 10 mini strokes per podcast?
Tom Enos. Rhymes with penis.
Tom Enos.
There, take that.
Middle name P. Right?
All right.
Tom P. Enos.
Real funny, buddy. No,
That's
it's
funny.
true.
That's
do.
all right, though.
But I have about 12 per episode. Let's get it right.
Well, if we're going to be scientific
Well,
about
we're going to talk about strokes.
Anyways, yeah. So if you guys want to be a part of this portion of the podcast, go to iTunes, go to Facebook, go to the Kindle book on Amazon, go to the Amazon
Rainforest.
No, go to the Bigfoot film on Amazon Prime.
Oh, yeah.
And leave us one there.
Yeah.
I don't care. Do wherever you want. But it's got to be one of those places.
It's a mad, mad world.
It is.
It's so mad.
Moving on.
So do you want to go? Or
I'll go.
Do you have something?
I thought this was super interesting.
Okay.
Because I think there's conspiracy to behold.
In 2020,
Yeah.
no one talks about conspiracies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So have you heard about the satellite that's like approached that asteroid and it started to like get ripped apart inside like this hollow space?
Oh, I didn't know it got ripped apart.
It's like getting spun to death inside it.
What?
Personally, I think it's a spaceship.
Oh. Like the asteroid's a spaceship.
Yeah. So here's a quote from old scientist guy.
We were hoping to find.
He's kind of French, too.
Okay, perfect.
We were hoping to find out what happened to this asteroid over time.
No, I want you to do it in the French accent, the French nerd.
We were hoping to find out what happened to the asteroid over time.
That's like, that doesn't sound French, though.
I don't know.
That's
I
all
can't
right.
do a French
It's good,
one.
though. It's good.
You even posted that thing
I know.
about that.
It's awesome.
Which can give us a bit of...
That's like, there you
go. Yeah, anyway.
Okay, keep going.
Insight into how all these small asteroids are changing over millions, hundreds of millions, billions of years. Our findings exceeded our expectations. But as they were collecting samples in this asteroid, this the actual little satellite thing just is stuck in this hollow space in this asteroid and just getting spun and spun. I think it's a turbine.
Oh.
For a newly advanced spaceship.
Interesting.
Coming to the United States to raise havoc.
I welcome them at this point. Come take us away.
But I thought it was weird. It's just like there's this big void in this asteroid, and
an
it's
asteroid
almost like
void?
It's like a mini black hole inside it.
Oh gosh.
So what is it? Is it really an asteroid?
Oh.
Or it's a disguised spaceship? I think it's a spaceship.
That's a perfect way to disguise a spaceship as an asteroid.
Yeah.
Right?
That one's just kind of going around
There's
the
an
Earth.
asteroid over there. No biggie. Right? Don't worry about it.
Don't go through it. Go around it because you get ripped apart.
Yeah.
But it's an asteroid.
No, that's cool. I saw that satellite had landed, but I hadn't seen much
Like
else
hollow
about it.
space, but I don't I'd read that it's getting like spun
Yeah.
in pieces, but I know pieces of it are just like getting pulled off. I wonder if there's like little goblins that are just like running, ripping
Goblins.
panels off.
Taking them back and hiding them, burying the
Took
pieces.
the tires. There's stuff on cinder
It's like,
blocks
it's like
when they
when
find
you
it.
park in a bad neighborhood.
This is the wrong side of the asteroid.
That'll teach him to park over here.
That's what the aliens sound like.
We got the solar panels, guys.
Check that out.
Maybe we can build our own spaceship.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
So mine is less fun than yours, but 2020 election. I mean, it is how many weeks now away from? It was
Who
like
says that hasn't been fun?
everyone. It's been a couple of weeks now. We still don't know who the president
Unbelievable.
is in 2021. Obviously, Biden has sort of claimed, he's won, and technically, sort of, he's won at this point. But there's all these calls that there's fraud and bad stuff going on, and Trump's not conceding. And it's just
clearly a freaking mess.
It's a huge mess, and basically, we're probably not going to have like a definitive answer until
Christmas.
No, it should be before Christmas because the electors have to cast their vote, I think, mid-December. So that's like when that happens.
Yeah, it's
That's
done.
it, right? So we should at least know by then, but we're not going to know until then, probably, because there is a bunch of weird crap going on, and
There is some weird crap.
there is
going
weird
on.
crap, but I just don't know if there's enough weird crap to
Justify
overturn.
the-
Yeah. So, but we'll just have to see. But either way, so I think honestly, it's actually kind of helped. Like I thought there was going to be riots, and I thought there was going to be crazy stuff, but the uncertainty has actually made people like, well, do we riot? Do we not riot?
Yeah.
So everybody's kind of in a holding pattern. So that's probably good right now. It gives us more time to kind of get ready. And, when a Democrat gets in office, if Biden does get into office, that probably means there's going to be a lot more of you out there listening because for some reason, once a Democrat gets in office, there's a lot more preppers because most preppers tend to be right wing. But now, I'm not saying they're all right wing, guys. Now, listen to me. Don't send me an email saying, well, they're not all right wing. I'm a Democrat. I understand.
Yeah.
We love the Democrats. We love the Republicans. We love the independents out there that are listening. We love all of you. I'm just saying.
You libtard.
The biggest portion is that right wing. So, anyways, you got a couple more months at this point, to continue to prep and to do what you got to do to get ready, right?
Yeah. Do you remember the movie Cinderella, man? It's like one of my favorites.
Yeah, I do.
There's the part at the end when they're like getting, it's over and they're taking score. And my favorite quote, and he's like, if they take this long to make a decision, they're going to decide to screw somebody. And that's
it's so true though,
what
huh?
It sounds like
Oh
going
my
on
gosh, man. Yeah. All the memes. There's so many memes out there right now of like, like they took so long to count ballots. I don't understand what's happening. It's taking so long.
I don't get it.
Like, have you seen the video of like the little kid that's running home in baseball and he's just going like crazy slow? Have you seen that video? Like he's like going in slow motion and everybody's waiting for him to get home and he's just like savoring the moment, and then people are like, this is everybody counting ballots, and then the people at home are like us trying to figure out who the president is. You know what I mean?
It's
like,
true.
come on.
It's like, holy
it's ridiculous.
crap.
Anyways,
I won 100,000,000. What'd you say? Oh, I got to start over. It's like messing up their count at the very end.
Exactly. That's how it is. But anyways, the topic we have today
Good
is
thing that's not going away. It's just gonna keep
ever.
on going.
the topic we have today is prepping with a family. And this is
Even if you don't have a family.
even if you don't have a family, and we're going to talk about the types of family. I mean, there's so many different types of families,
Right.
and you can prep for all of them.
Mm-hmm.
You okay? So we're going to
We're
talk
all a
about
family.
that. We're a family.
We are a family.
We're a family. Everybody.
So-
but the biggest question that like Cam and I talked about that we get probably more than anything is how do I get my family involved, especially when they just don't care.
Right.
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 That's the big. Like we probably get that once a week. Like,
We
hey,
do.
can you guys talk about this? And we
do.
We haven't necessarily really honed in and talked about that one. So that's
We
gonna be the first.
politician answered that question.
Yeah. Well, no, don't want to answer.
Let me answer that by asking you this.
Have you thought about it?
But there's a lot of things that kind of stand in the way of getting like the full involvement of a family, or
sure.
or not just your immediate family. And some of those things, like Kobe said, is just there's people that they're just not interested. They don't feel the urgency that we might feel.
Yeah.
They're just like, nah, things are okay. It's kind of one of the bias that they talk about is like the normalcy bias. It's we're going to be okay. Like we've always been okay. The world's been okay. The government will take care of us. Don't worry about anything.
And if you don't know history, you might think that that's true.
Well, yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the problem too, is we eliminate history nowadays.
Yes.
We don't learn from it. We get rid of it.
Yeah, it didn't happen.
So that's one of the big things. The other thing is some people they fear disaster and they don't really want to talk about the worst case scenario. They don't want to know what could happen, so they just go about not worrying
That's
about
kind
it.
of like the people that like they know they're probably sick, like there's something wrong, and they just don't go to the doctor.
Exactly. It's a perfect example.
You know what I mean?
It's
It's like I know something's wrong in my body.
When those come in, I'm like, you're far too.
Why did you not come in 3 years ago? It's the same
Your
thing.
sugars are 970.
You're basically pissing out straight sugar. What's going on? This is bad.
It's just a nerd rope. How long you had that in there? It's like just clustered with calcium.
We've analyzed your urine, and it's watermelon nerds. What's happening? You
could sell this and die soon.
This is great for some people, but for you, this is diabetes, by the way.
So there's that, and then there's the ones that are just like, I have this much money to play with. They don't really want to spend the additional.
That's a hard one.
That is a hard one.
It's super hard.
But I mean, like I don't have like the exact answers to these, but I think that the things that we'll talk about will help in terms of like how to like slowly build and help be prepared, even though someone's not completely committed to buying the 10-year food supply that you would like.
And again, I would never probably advocate for that anyways, unless you're just you're rich, unless you got just like so much money. It's like, great, then go buy that 10-year supply and then forget about food and then do something. You know what I mean? But like 99% of people can't do that. So.
I don't think most of us are at any point of focusing on building and making a bunker. I'd love to, but it's like I don't think you have everything ready to move on to that point.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is like that stereotype. They don't want to be seen as like a prepper. The media thinks to the media, it looks really unattractive. You look like a psychopath.
Yeah.
And most of the time, that's all that they like put out in the media is the weirdos. Like even with the pandemic, they're like, we've always made fun of preppers, but let's talk to a prepper, and it's like the craziest freaking person on the planet.
Like you couldn't find one person that was
Yeah.
like normal.
He's like
that's a prepper.
carrying a bazooka in the grocery store. He's like, I knew this time was coming.
I told you. If I told you once, I told you twice. You know what I mean?
So there's all those things that kind of stand in the way of like people in normal everyday life getting involved in prepping.
And that's why we're here.
That's it. Yeah.
When it comes down to it,
we
wanted to
the
be that
casual.
Yeah, we wanted to be that somewhat normal. I mean, I don't know. And no one's ever said we're normal.
No,
but
I have many strokes. And that's true.
It's true.
I'm not a public speaker.
No,
obviously.
No, neither of us are. But yeah, that's why we're here. Is we're trying to change that
right.
View of
we
preppers.
We go to work every day. Our kids go to school. We go to church. We just have normal lives. Prepping is.
It's not everything.
An interest.
Yeah.
And something we hope everybody does. But anyway. So some ways to involve members that are on board, ones that kind of, they're cool with it. But getting them more involved is kind of the one probably big thing is coming like up with a plan, like planning together. The hard thing for me is sometimes not involving my family enough.
Yeah, sure.
I'm like going through my water, like inventory. I'm packing my bug out bag, and I'm doing it by myself. It's like this is a perfect opportunity to
because
let my kids see what I'm doing and why I'm doing it.
Sometimes you want that time by yourself, and you're like,
That's true.
I have an hour to myself. I'm gonna go check out some preps.
I'm gonna count my carbs.
I'm gonna count my carbs. Yeah, I'm gonna count my knives.
Yeah,
that's what I'm doing.
Can't say I don't do that sometimes.
Yeah, 1, 2, 465.
This one's clean enough?
Gosh,
this
yeah,
is not clean enough.
But yeah, so yeah, it is probably a good idea as much as possible to try and
just get them involved in that because my family's not opposed to it. They're not as into it as I am.
Yep.
But that's partly my fault too because I could involve them more with some of the stuff we do.
Absolutely.
The other thing is most people that I know, and they're not preppers, but most people want to have they want to be prepared in some way. So building on that for people, it's like you obviously don't want to be caught off guard in a situation like we did just recently with the pandemic. A lot of people panicked and bought 6,000 crates of toilet paper because they didn't know why. They saw people doing it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of one of those of, just building on what people already have, a sense of I need to be a little bit prepared and self-sustaining. And for example, when my wife goes to the grocery store, I'll sign on to the app and add a few things.
Exactly, yeah.
But she's good at that too. She looks through cooking supplies and things that she wants to add to our pantry just for, purposes of not having to go to the grocery store all the time. So that's helpful. Getting people to have a little more sense of urgency of, that's the hard thing too, because everything, especially in the United States, everything's super easy and we have things convenient and we've never really experienced any super bad hardship. So kind of...
Luckily, though, we have had this recent stint with COVID that at least...
I feel like this was a good eye-opener,
for
good
sure
opportunity to learn how much we're not prepared for a big problem.
Yeah, if there ever was an opportunity to bring on a reluctant family member into prepping, this year was the year to do it.
This is a great year.
This is a great year, and if you haven't done that yet, use the opportunity while it's still fresh in their minds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep. And I think another thing is example. You don't want to be... I always talk about this when my wife was looking into prepping and doing some, natural things to store. She went to this little thing here in town, and the dude was just a psycho. He was
I remember that. I think my wife went too.
It frustrated me because he's he made it if nobody's prepared around me, I'll kill them because this is my food and my family. And he turned it into a whole psychopath prepper thing. And that's what I think is a bad example for others.
And I'm pretty sure he was the same guy that was making his own deodorant that
he was
that was eating nothing but prep food so that he was used to it when it came down. And it's okay,
that
man.
Just gives a terrible sense of preparedness. It's wow, I don't want to be like that.
People like that are definitely not going to bring on those that are even a little bit reluctant.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
and I expect to, people know that I'm a prepper and, and I don't want to give away all my stuff, but I expect to help people, and do what we can. I think the more that are prepared, the better it is for everybody because you're not having to feel guilty not helping somebody when you don't have enough for your own family.
Yeah, exactly.
But getting those on board, kind of preparing them and seeing some of the urgency. Like, I like those survival movies, and when my wife watches them, we always have like these ideas of, man, that would be like Contagion's one of the scariest.
Oh yeah,
and stuff like that. It's just like, wow, are we prepared enough? And this is, like Kobe said, the COVID time has been a perfect opportunity, unfortunately, to see what we can do better. Like,
and
look at the government; they're spinning, their heads are still spinning.
They have no idea what's going on still. Yeah, but you're right. Those opportunities when you're watching a movie like that, it's a great time to just like start up a casual conversation about it. Like, crap, man, what would we do? Like, how?
It's
you know what I mean?
Yeah, yep.
And
we've talked about it driving. It's like, what if something happened? Like, where would we go, and what would we do? And one of the books too that like triggered some of these thoughts for me was 1 Second After.
Yep.
Because it's just like, if we lost like the grid of how the United States functions, you'd learn a ton from it. And there's even simple stuff like the American Blackout.
Yeah. Watch American Blackout.
Man, it opened my eyes to a ton of things. Like,
Absolutely.
What if I was driving and I couldn't get anything out of the ATM? Or what if So anyways, there's a lot of those little things I don't think are over the top, but just help you think. A lot of them on, streaming service, Netflix, YouTube, things like that. What to do if they don't or they won't get on board. I think the easiest thing to do here is just kind of add things that you normally do to what you do. Like, if you're going to the grocery store, or instead of going and buying a big blue water barrel, you just fill up the used, You start filling up some of your used pop bottles. And yes, I said it. Pop bottles that have contaminated sugar in them.
Yep.
Don't worry about it. Just use those things that don't look over the top. Stop correcting. Kobe's going spell check on me. But you don't need to go over the top and do the 72-hour stuff. You can slowly add to your grocery list.
Yeah.
Things that don't annoy your significant other or your family, but you're still slowly adding to help them. Like I said, I don't think anybody's going to be opposed to you prepping, but I think you can do it in a way by just adding a little extra to the things that you already go and buy, an extra bag of rice, an extra bag of flour, things like that.
Yeah, so. I can see the only time I could see where somebody may be somewhat opposed to it is if money is tight, and that's where it gets hard, because buying extra,
probably the most
buying
common
extra is tough sometimes. I mean, it's tough even when money's not tight sometimes to buy extra stuff like that. So you're right. I think the best way to do that is ways that doesn't really cost you anything. Like you said, just filling up empty bottles that you might have laying around that it's not going to cost you anything. Or like a bag of rice every month. I mean, what is that? A couple of bucks?
Yeah.
So.
And then we've talked before about like camping gear, because most people like to camp or go on vacation. That's an opportunity to like add supplies that can be used again. Like, Coleman stoves and things like that. It's like, well, this is fun for the trip, but I can use it again. And it's opportunity to add some cool gear that will be applicable to all kinds of different scenarios. So anyways, those are some of the ways you can kind of just involve your family.
and I would say, you may have already mentioned this a little bit, but just making sure that your significant other, whoever this is that you're trying to convince, is aware of the things that are happening in the world, because sometimes people just are oblivious to what's happening. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And I can understand avoiding it.
Sure.
Like, my wife likes to not listen to the news, and I don't blame her one bit. Like, I'll go home and tell her, oh, did you see that? Yeah. The atomic bomb went off over in Japan? I shouldn't use Japan.
Maybe this is 1940s. Maybe
she's like, no, now what? But I'm just like, you got to kind of give them a sense of like importance of being prepared for whatever.
Exactly. You just mad world type stuff that we talk about, every week is a good idea to make sure that they are aware of, because as soon as people start understanding what the consequences of some of these things are, they might be more inclined to say, okay, maybe we do need to be.
Just let them listen to the first 7 minutes of our podcast. And
absolutely.
They won't want the rest.
No, nobody does.
No. But you get the mad world, and they'll be like, wow, is that really happening?
Yep, exactly.
So,
That's great.
That's some of the things.
That's good. That's good stuff. And again, I wanted to quickly talk about all types of families. We're not just talking about the typical mom, dad, 2.3 kids, dog type family here. There's all these types of families that can be considered a family and that you might need to prep for other people, right? Sometimes it's just a couple. It's just you and a wife or you and a husband or, whatever it might be, you and a girlfriend, you and a boyfriend. Sometimes you've got kids. Sometimes you have like an older family member in the group. In that, we're going to talk about this, but that really complicates the way that you have to prep.
Get rid of them.
Yeah, a grandparent or also somebody who may be sick.
Yeah.
Or somebody who might be special needs. Something like that. It complicates your prepping
So
immensely.
unique, you have to cater it completely.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. But then also, it could be a single parent with kids, which complicates it again because it makes things a lot harder. And then you could also have extended family members, aunts, uncles, or even friends living at your home. So you have to plan, you have to prep accordingly depending on what your family makeup looks like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So basically, this episode is for anybody who just doesn't live alone and has no friends and has no family, which is not a lot of people, right? I mean, there's some people like that, but most people have somebody that they feel somewhat responsible for, even if they don't live in their house. That's something we're going to talk about too, because sometimes you have people that we talked about before that refuse to prep for themselves. They're in town, they can't prep for themselves, or they don't want to.
I constantly hear people, "We'll just come to your house." No.
No, you won't. Yeah. So just be thinking about that as we move along. We're not just talking about mom, dad, kids here. This is all types of groups of families. So.
Yeah. So let's talk about the worst and hardest of them all.
Okay.
Kids.
Let's do it.
So how do you get them involved or part of your prep plan?
Yeah.
They're great while they're little. And then when they grow up and they're independent, they're probably good. But that in between, where most of us are, they're dependents and they're terrible.
They're like that like 2 to 5 is tough, dude.
It is.
It's super tough.
Yeah. So so some of the ways we've had a whole episode on this of getting kids involved in a way with prepping.
Mm-hmm.
So kids seem to be interested in like disasters. Like,
heck yeah, dude.
Mine totally are. Like they love to like watch. I mean, they're kind of messed up, but they'll watch like these disaster things on YouTube sometimes, and like, holy crap! But that's a good opportunity to talk to them about like, what would you do if this happened, or what would we do as a family? Yeah. If we lose power, that's one thing that my kids really like too, is like flashlights and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So bringing them into like I said, into your prep plans, get out of there. Bringing them into your prep plans of like doing your bug out bag. So I have the separate bags for them, and I'm like, okay, what kind of stuff would you guys want to take with you if we left home? And like they go crazy.
Oh yeah.
Like it's like Tawny gets frustrated because they put like their nicest clothes in there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like,
church clothes, ties.
Yeah. And then the bottom half's just toys that they never play with. Yeah. But getting them involved, like kids like that stuff, and you don't have to be terrifying about it. You don't have to say zombies, brain-eating viruses, and things like that are coming, and we need to prepare for that. You don't need to bring that apocalyptic stuff into it. We do that to excite adults.
Well, sometimes you can. It depends on the kids and it depends on the age.
Yeah, it's true.
For sure. Like my
kids
one
watch
daughter,
a zombie movie on Disney.
My one daughter's totally getting into The Last Kids on Earth. I don't know if you've seen that. They're books, and then they're also
wait, didn't they make a little series?
There's a Netflix series.
I did
too.
see that. I never.
So it's
watched
like these young kids that
that's
live.
perfect because of the age,
and the kids kind of all have their little their bunker that they live in, and so it's.
Do you remember that old movie On Our Own or whatever, where they like?
Yes, I think so.
We watched Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. There's a survival scenario.
For sure.
We just watched it recently. But you can talk to them about ways to like stay alive. And I always I've tried to help them when they go camping. Like, what do you do if you get lost from us? Don't wander around. Like, stay put and whistle or blow.
I can't whistle, Daddy.
They're usually so noisy, nothing on earth would ever.
Yeah.
But there's always that chance.
For sure.
And then most of the time they're in the basement. They're in those areas where you have food storage or gear. And so sometimes they ask, and that's a perfect chance to talk to them about it.
Yeah.
Other things is like involve them in, I try to change it up when we go camping and stuff to like, let's look at like different plants and stuff. Most of the time they don't listen one bit.
Oh, no.
But some of the gear I have, how do you use it? Why do we use it? And, you just kind of, again, use the opportunity of where they're interested and
For
they're
sure.
doing stuff to like teach them more about what
and even
you
if
have.
they don't like grasp everything, because a lot of times too, like I'll just grab my bug out bag when I'm trying to like either add some gear in or arrange
sleep with
it. Yeah. Dear, you can sleep on the couch tonight. I'm sleeping with my bug out bag. No, but I'll just bring it out, and the kids just like tear it apart and just start looking at everything that's in
do.
there. And it's like perfect time to just
Perfect
talk.
and frustrating because
It
you're
is
like, where's
way
that
frustrating.
flashlight I just took out?
Yeah. But it's a great time to just talk about each of those items and the basics about what they're for and why you would even want it.
Yeah. And then Kobe always stresses the emergency plan, the phone numbers and why we have the lists and what are those things that's in their backpacks? What are those numbers for and what could happen? So you just kind of build a little scenario of the events that would lead them to using the bags and stuff like that. You got to kind of paint the picture for them. It's surprising to me when you don't think kids are listening and when they don't remember anything. Because like when we went to like Lagoon, one of the parks here, we wrote a phone number on there, and I didn't feel like any of them were listening to why we did that.
Yeah.
But I remember this was quite a while back. Like my oldest was, I don't know, like 7 or 8. And we got separated and I turned around and I could see him.
Yeah.
And he was like, he started to panic a little and then he looked at his arm.
Yeah.
And I was like, he was listening.
At
like,
least he kind of knew.
He kind of knew what to do. So like as dumb as they seem, they do remember and they are listening. And when they get scared, if you can teach them, like, we had power go out, and that was a kind of a good opportunity to show them, like, this is where our stuff is, and this is where you can go.
They love it.
They do. They get, like, freaked.
Until
and they,
after, like
the
an
freak.
hour, and then they're like, I want to play.
Can I watch a movie?
Yeah.
No, you can't.
No.
Okay. Can we microwave some popcorn? No, you can't do that.
You can sit here and look at your flashlight. That's what you can do.
Some really useful resources are those, like, FEMA and Red Cross. They have, like, printouts, like,
tons of stuff.
They have cards, like, you can print out, like, flashcards and stuff. Lightning flashcards.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they have really good. They had a disaster one that I printed out that had like hurricanes and tornadoes and
nice.
So they could like look and see what to do because some of that stuff has changed since when I was little.
Yeah.
Draw under the power line if the tornado's coming.
Hold on to the power pole with all your might.
Yeah. Find a power box and hide under it.
Hide under a cow, some sort.
Hold on to the propane tank.
Grab on them udders. Don't let go.
But yeah, and then I've even the one thing too my kids like to watch is some video games, and some of them can be like my kids will watch DayZ. It kind of creeps them out, but I usually tell them I don't have any food and water, and I'm trying to find resources and show them that I'm storing these things in a location. So if you're into games, that's a good opportunity too that you could show them that.
Yeah, so it's basically just looking for the opportunity to just interject it here and there where it makes sense, right?
Yeah. Don't feed them for a week. Tell them, find your own food outside.
Now what?
No, but yeah,
you gonna
it is.
cry?
Just making them like understand why you do the things you do, and that anytime we may have to, we may lose Disney Plus and Netflix. And what are you going to do then?
Ooh.
What are you going to do then?
The streaming apocalypse.
Yep.
Sounds bad.
One thing about COVID, it's led to a 5-fold increase in cyber attacks, according to the WHO.
Who? What?
It's according to the WHO.
Oh, okay.
But unlike coronavirus, there's a solution to the problem. We don't have a solution.
No.
But this problem with cyber attacks, we do, and it's called Surfshark, VPN. So it's a virtual private network that can protect you and all your devices from online threats. Go gray man online and shield your information from websites and other online services. Don't worry about malware, phishing, obnoxious, or often unsafe ads or emails. You're going to be shopping a lot this season online.
Guarantee it, yeah.
So be careful out there. This is the perfect time to get Surfshark. Get notified if your email is compromised and your password. They have ID protection, and that'll just email you and tell you, guess what?
Yeah.
You lost your password to
Those
the
Russians. The Russians was weird. The Russians on
always.
Etsy are probably stealing your stuff right now.
Etsy.
You know what I mean?
That
But not
bracelet
via
looks
Surfshark.
nice, but your bank account looks nicer.
This pure amber, I swear.
You know?
Beautiful bismuth
Give
rock
me email address, I'll send it over, okay?
from titanium mine in Russia. also, they don't only protect you, but they can make your life way funner.
Yeah.
You can go and watch Netflix in the UK. You can basically put your computer as if it were in a different country and stream different networks there.
But beware, they all have accents.
Yeah.
Everything you watch.
Yeah. So if you want something on the Netflix in UK, you can do it with Surfshark.
Rad.
The nicest thing of all is that one subscription covers every single device. You don't have a limit of 5 devices. You don't have to install any apps. Well, you do. But you can actually just use like the website and stuff.
Yeah.
I haven't yet tried to integrate it into my router, but you can.
Yeah. You can.
Fast, unlimited access, 24/7 support, and then why not try it for 30 days? It's guaranteed.
Risk
money
free.
back.
Yeah.
So go to surfshark.deals/casualpreppers. That's surfshark.deals/casualpreppers.
Link in
and
the show
enter
notes.
the promo code casualpreppers. You get a huge 85% discount and 3 extra months.
That's a pretty
I
big
think
discount.
It's roughly like $60 and you get over 2 years of protection. You're stupid.
Joe
if you
Biden will
don't.
be dead by then.
Right.
So think about it.
So go now, become Gray Man Online.
Beautiful. I love it. So Cam, we teased this out, but I'm getting to it now finally. Let's talk about special needs, old, sick, allergic people. Okay?
Ew.
This is
All that sounds
this
horrible.
can be such a hard issue just in normal everyday
What if you're
life.
allergic to old and sick people?
I think that's great for you. Right? But this is tough enough just in everyday life, just getting through life, when you are when
Old
you have
and sick and got
or
allergies.
if you have somebody in your family or that you take care of that has one of is in one of these categories, it's tough. But it gets even harder to prep for them, and it gets harder for them, or it gets harder for you in an SHTF scenario or an emergency scenario. So you just have to be even more vigilant as a prepper if somebody like this is in your family. And your plan kind of almost has to revolve around that person because it's so much hard.
Adds
so,
a huge complication too.
yeah, so think about things like age. So old age, obviously, everything is hard once you get to a certain age. Chronic illnesses make a bunch of things difficult. Mental health issues is tough. Hearing loss, impaired vision, mobility restrictions, or those people that have like significant dietary restrictions. Boy, that's rough. That's
Big old allergy list.
Yes, so that makes things very, very hard. So the first thing I want to talk about is I know that not most of the time, sometimes these illnesses or these situations just can't be improved. Like they are what they are, and there's no way around
Cards
them.
are dealt.
Yeah, those are the cards you have. There's nothing you can do. But there are times when that's not true, when you can improve them with certain lifestyle changes.
Exactly.
Right? And so you kind of have to be that person, either if it's you or if it's not you, somebody in your family, you have to help them in those situations as much as you can, especially since you're the prepper. You want to make things as easy as possible in an SHTF scenario. So with things like some forms of diabetes, high blood pressure, obesity, general unwellness, those types of things can be.
This is a great time to stop smoking.
It's a fantastic time to stop eating McDonald's 4 times a day. Okay? I understand it tastes delicious. And sometimes you have to have
and
it.
it's super convenient.
But if you are obese, if you have high blood pressure, if you're
going to the doctor's office every month,
it's not a good deal.
it's not a good thing.
And there's ways around that. And so that means you need to help them, or you need to yourself improve that situation if these people are in your family. So that means getting healthy, which is getting on some sort of a diet, or just stop eating crap constantly, right? Maybe there's a surgery that can assist you in some way or that will help you. I'm not like a huge advocate of surgery, but if it's something that long term helps this
there are
person,
things.
right? That's great. If there's a medication that may help, but the biggest thing is diet and exercise. Like, I'm sounding like a doctor here now, but
No, it's true.
It's such a big deal. And if you get into an SHTF scenario and you fix these problems, you're not obese anymore, and you can walk 30 feet without, having a heart attack. That's a great deal.
Yeah.
So
well, it's just like you said. I mean, I see people, the same people, like every month.
Yeah.
And I always look at them like, do you want to see me every month?
Yeah.
Like,
some people do.
there's some things that they just, there is a lot that just love it. But I'm like, think of the medications that aren't keeping you alive, do you really need them? Because when things go south, like you're not going to be able to see a doctor on a regular basis.
Exactly. And
we're not going to want to see you.
No, and I get it 100%. Dieting and exercise effing sucks.
Yeah,
it's
it
not
really
fun.
does.
But at some point, it's better than
And not doing it now,
Yeah,
I'm
oh
worried,
boy.
is going to lead
Exactly.
me to spending just as much time as
100%.
as my patients do in the
So
doctor's
think
office.
about that. If that's possible, make that part of your prepping plan to get them to a point where they're not dependent on those things and that they can somewhat take care of themselves in a scenario, right? So one of the biggest things is mobility. If you have a family member who has issues with mobility, that's going to be a huge concern. Like if they just can't get up and walk out to the truck to drive away, in an emergency or an SHTF situation, this could seriously mean life or death.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like I said, with some disabilities, that just can't be improved. So you have to adjust your prepping plan accordingly. So maybe this family member relies on an electric wheelchair or like a scooter. So you got to figure out what to do
Stock
there.
up on batteries.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I don't know what you got to do, but you got to think about it. If they're in a wheelchair, make sure you've practiced like bug out situations or fire drills or those types of things because
that is a whole different complication.
Adds a whole nother element. If you have to lift or maneuver to get to these weird spaces to get to any of your emergency supplies, that's not going to be easy for like they can't just crawl up on the counter and on top of the like you have to get it in a place where if you're not home or if they need to go get it. Sorry, am I touching you with my feet?
No, the carpet's getting on this.
That you have it in a place where they can get to it. So you have to adjust the way you store stuff as well, right?
One of the big things too is people are dependent on oxygen.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a concentrator. Like if you ask, you can get. I mean, a lot of them now are probably been transitioned over. They have to have the tanks, but the oxygen concentrator just takes atmospheric oxygen and compresses it so they don't have to have the tanks refilled or brought to them all the time.
That's cool. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so
that's awesome.
Like there's those things to try and not be so dependent on medical services.
Yeah, anything you can do to have a plan B or less dependent is such a big deal if somebody in your family has this. And then also service animals can sometimes be helpful in some of these emergencies. Like they're amazing, some of them. So
you can drag a body across the...
They really can. So think about that. If there's mobility issues with anybody in your family, just plan accordingly. Think about all the scenarios that may happen because you're going to have to be way more prepared than most people because they can't just run out to the truck and drive away, right? Just like Cam said, home medical devices. If a family member uses any sort of medical device at home that requires power, you need to be very aware of what your backup situation is when the power goes out.
Like CPAP is another big one that people are dependent on. Like I got my dad to get a battery backup system because I'm like,
it's exactly what I'm talking about.
Crap.
Exactly. He's not going to be able to sleep. So even if it's not a life or death thing, like boy, you sure want to have a backup to these types of things. So think about the power backup plan, and then also if you need to take those with you in a bug out situation, how's that going to happen? Medications. I think Cam may talk a little bit more about this here in a minute, but some disabled or elderly or sick family members may require daily meds or meds they have to take often to stay alive or to even just stay in good health. So make sure that you have at least 30-day supply. Backup, 90 days the best. If you can go get a 90-day supply, and with some medications that shouldn't be an issue, right?
And the ones that it is, you don't need to be on all the time.
You don't need to be
on all the time. So you probably need to work out some kind of way of avoiding.
That's a good way to look at it, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So Cam's talked about this quite a bit. Make sure you have a book or a guide that gives you alternate meds that may also work for those types of things. What were the ones that you talked about? The pharmacopoeia.
That's probably the easiest one to get. Is
what is it
like
called?
Tarascon.
Oh yeah, Tarascon.
Pharmacopoeia. Because then if you run out of metoprolol and your neighbor has a
Propranolol.
tenolol, you're probably okay.
Yeah.
Like if they have extras or something, just in case.
Just in case. Yeah. So
You
that's
don't take your other neighbor's meds. Let me put a disclaimer on there. Somebody will
Please.
rip me apart.
Yeah. Here comes the nurse practitioner yelling at somebody. So so have that so you know what alternate meds may be borrowed or scrounged in an emergency situation. Also have a list of alternate natural remedies if all else fails. This isn't awesome.
Cannabis.
Yeah, well, it's perfect for everything.
Right.
This is never going to be perfect, but at least you have some sort of a backup plan.
You do.
Right? And I think we've talked about this several times. I don't want to get into it too far other than make sure that's part of your plan if somebody in your family has that issue. Allergies. This can be critical when it comes to prepping for a family. If somebody's gluten intolerant or they can't have any gluten, you know, not just intolerant, or if they're
anaphylactic reactions of some sort.
So just prep your food storage accordingly. I mean, just think about it. Sleeping accommodation. Sometimes if you're in a bug out situation, just a sleeping bag isn't going to work for some people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Elderly, sick, disabled, special needs. Sometimes it just doesn't work. So you have to have a plan.
I can't sleep in a sleeping bag.
I can't either. But make sure you have a plan. So just think about that. Temperature control is another one to think about. Some immunocompromised family members.
I was just looking back to the sleeping theme real quick. I was looking on, like, Woo, you know, it's like that Amazon thing, but they have these deals all the time for like camping gear and stuff. But they had these like mini cots, you know, that like stack. They're so cool.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you never know who you know, to get off the floor, that would be
it's a big deal.
Huge. So,
I mean, for one thing, it keeps you warmer.
Yeah.
It's going to be way more
comfortable.
comfortable.
Looking at those things to accommodate for additional people or to make things more comfortable.
And an older person, sometimes getting all the way to the ground is just tough and getting back up. So if you have something that's off the ground, so you just have to think about those things.
And if you're all going to consolidate to one room, you know, you can't put all the mattresses in there. So it's like, think of these different ways.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Hammocks.
Yeah. Temperature control. Like I was saying, immunocompromised family members are going to be super susceptible to major fluctuations in temperature.
I am.
I know I am too. Believe me. And so
my air conditioner is my number one plan.
It is, yeah.
How to power the air conditioner.
My prepping plan, keep air conditioner running all year long. That's all it is.
It's like have all the maintenance crews, come on, make sure this thing's running smooth.
Yep, exactly. So just make sure you have a plan for SHTF or emergency situations in the very cold times of the year and the very hot times of the year, so you have a way to control temperature in some way, shape, or form. If you have somebody in your family that is like it has one of these issues, it's a really good idea to make a specialized kit for this family member that might have everything they need if you need to bug out or if it's a situation where you might have to leave for a bit and they need stuff. So it's almost like an EDC kit for this person with this specialized gear that they might need. And this could also include like medical information, numbers, and things like that that might be useful. So think about doing something like that.
I think for like kids and stuff that are like type 1 diabetics, it's huge to have a plan written for somebody else that may have to take care of them.
Yeah, because who knows what's going to happen in those situations.
Both wiped out and you have a child that's diabetic.
I would have no idea what to do.
Yeah, you don't know how much insulin they need and when they need it.
Oh,
so
such
it's
a good
good
idea.
for your kid to have a plan written out and put in like his kit or his bag.
Yeah, that's a super good idea.
Scary deal though.
Yeah. And the last one I wanted to talk about is a lot of us have either parents or grandparents that are old, like super old, that are either disabled or they're by themselves, and they're not really. I mean, most of the time,
forget about them.
Most of the time, they're not thinking about emergency prepping. They're just not.
They're hoping something happens.
Yeah, they're just waiting for a wave to come wipe out the city.
Please get me out of this.
Get me to heaven now. But so if there's somebody like that in your family and you're in the vicinity, it's probably a good idea for you to take that on yourself, right? So you've got to make them part of your plan somehow.
It's a good idea because you never know. Like
you don't.
Hopefully, other family members have incorporated them in, and if they do, and 3 of you, then you can trade off. And
but again, you probably have to have that discussion with whoever that might be because nobody knows, right? So at least have
both
the discussion.
Of you just plan on the other.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure my brother's gonna take it.
I thought you're going to grandma's. No.
Yeah, no.
It's been 6 months. Nobody's talked to her.
Crap. Did it again. So maybe you need to adjust your bug out route so that it swings by grandma's house or something, you know. Hey, grandma, jump in the back of the truck. We're heading out, you know.
Got your bag.
We're ready
You're
to
going
roll.
to be carrying 2 of them.
Yeah, I got your bacon
Use
supplies.
it as a mule.
Bacon supplies and crochet yarn. We're rolling. Let's go. So just make sure that you've got that like a bug out route that kind of goes by their house, or maybe your bug in plan means that you have to go get them and bring them to your house or something, you know. It's going to be difficult, but you just have to think about it because they're still part of the family.
That's a good idea, yeah, because I don't think about that.
I don't either. And until I started looking into it.
My wife's grandma, she's kind of on her own.
Yeah.
She may end up on her own for good.
She'll die on her own, she'll live on her own. Yeah.
So this kind of was covered a bit by Kobe too, but working on just the basics. So
Yeah.
number one is that plan. You really need to figure out, like, yes, food, water, all that stuff, but you got to figure out like how much and how you're gonna store it and how you're gonna use it and all that stuff. So that's the one thing that frustrates me the most with like just recently when we had the pandemic. It was like nobody had a plan. They just panic bought everything, and so it's like,
Yeah.
you know how much stuff was probably wasted.
Oh, a ton.
It's like meat and stuff's all rotted.
I actually
and-
heard some people talking at Walmart that the week after there was like so many people trying to bring stuff back because they just like overbought.
So stupid.
Because they were scared and they couldn't afford it.
Yeah,
And then
I
then they were trying to bring it back.
think somebody did that with like Costco toilet paper or something.
Yeah.
Like they wouldn't let them bring it back, and I'm like, good.
Yeah, good.
But anyway, so have a good plan set up, and like we were saying, go to if you don't know how to start, just go to Red Cross.
RedCross.org. Yeah.
Like they have great plans and phone numbers and stuff, and like you could just start with a basic plan there. Moving on to food, just start slow with extra groceries, things that you're going to use that you like. Hopefully they're a little healthy. But those are the things you're going to first want to consume. Frozen goods are one thing Kobe has been like focused on a lot. I've been trying to fill up our freezer more because those things store for a lot longer. Granted, you still have electricity.
Yeah. Well,
But then they're the good things that can be added to more foods.
For sure.
You know.
yeah, and again, this is we're prepping for a family. So what does your family like,
Yeah.
and what does your family need, right?
The
What do
last
they
thing we
eat?
want to do is to get into that 25-year shelf life
No.
stuff. One,
That-
it tastes like crap.
Yeah.
Most of it's not
It's
great.
unhealthy.
And
Yeah.
you don't want to get into it because it's still sealed and stored, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, like cans of food, add in those things when you go to the grocery store. Those are ways to just kind of add to and get prepared simply for like, and then you can eventually move on to your long-term plan.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I keep going back to the frozen goods. I just know what my kids eat all the time. What are we always going through? And it's like
Waffles and syrup.
Exactly. It's the frozen breakfast
But
stuff.
it's true. My kids are so picky.
Yeah.
And
I know if I at least have that backed up, I could get through a couple of weeks and they
that's
can
a
eat
moral
waffles.
booster. They're just like,
Yeah.
they don't have to worry about eating weird crap.
Yeah.
You just eat the same stuff that they like.
Exactly.
Same kind of plan with water. It's just adding little bits as you go. You always have those leftover jugs of water. And yes, they're not the best thing to store in, but they're available. And
Sure.
you don't need to throw them away.
Yeah.
So I just kind of add a gallon here and there and try and write dates on them. Regardless, you can boil them
Yeah.
or run a filter through them.
For sure. And you're never going to have as much as you think. You need more than you think.
Yeah.
Especially with a family. Again, it comes back. We're talking about a family. So how many family members do you have?
Right.
Take a look at it and extrapolate that to 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever. It's a
Right.
lot of
And it's a
freaking
gallon
water.
per person what you want to shoot for,
Yeah.
right?
And that's
it's
a
a
lot.
ton of water.
Yeah.
Like I have two 55-gallon drums of water in my basement, or do I?
No, I don't know.
But that 100 gallons, that's going to get me
110.
110
Hey,
gallons.
come on.
Add
Don't
correctly.
shortchange yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean that using that sparingly is pushing roughly a month.
Yeah.
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 And not using
And it
the
probably
full,
won't last that long.
No.
Yeah.
Because you got to consider all the different things. Brushing your teeth, sanitary use,
Yeah.
cleaning things, then adding to your food, not
Yep.
just drinking
You
water.
gotta cook.
So it's like that doesn't go as far as. So a gallon per day is roughly like even a low estimate of what you're going to need.
Exactly,
What
yeah.
you need to have. But it's hard to store all that water. That's the worst thing. Like water frustrates
Pain
me
in
the
the butt,
most
dude.
because I'm like, it takes up tons of space.
It does.
You have to keep an eye on it. Might start leaking at any
I'm going to go
given-
watch the water, honey.
make sure nobody gets into it.
Yeah.
But like stuff gets tipped over if you don't have it stored properly,
Oh, it
or
does, man.
they collapse and start leaking. So anyway, just work on those small ways of storing water, and then slowly you can move to the bigger water supplies and tanks and stuff like that. Meds, we already kind of went over this, but it's a good opportunity to buy the things that are available. Ibuprofen and Tylenol, Benadryl, stomach meds, diarrhea, constipation, all that stuff. Sound like an advertisement.
You do.
But get all that stuff now because you never know. Stuff gets cleaned out. Wasn't it Tylenol that got wiped out?
Yeah, I think so.
Because
Yeah.
everybody heard that it was the only thing you could use to treat
Yep.
the
COVID.
COVID and stuff. So, and then fish antibiotics, we've talked about these. They do work. it's not advised to use antibiotics without medical. But having this last thing, you'll be grateful that you have these things. And then remembering sanitation stuff like toothpaste and deodorants and all that. That is a big health concern.
Yeah, and again, it comes back to doing this for a family. So think about all the family members,
Right.
all of their needs.
Right.
You got to go back to thinking about what is everybody going to need.
And especially that, like if you're caring for the special needs, there's always a higher requirement of sanitation supplies.
Yep, exactly.
And then the meds, working on prescription meds if you can, whatever you can change to get off from those meds is most important. Second, getting 90-day supplies so you're not worrying about going and finding a provider to write a script and going to the pharmacy.
Yeah.
Home security, you want to protect those people inside.
Absolutely.
For all that you're taking care of. So you got to think about different ways to protect, like security cameras, door jams, things to like protect from intruders and protect from kids leaving.
It is true because, man, I'll tell you what, that the home security system that I bought was one of the best money I've spent.
I think I want one bad.
I can hear every door that opens and every window
it's
that
still
opens
like
at
listed
all
as
time.
one of the very best, and I think because it costs so much for somebody to do it for you.
It's so expensive.
And they made it so much simpler.
Yeah.
It's called Simply Safe.
Yeah.
We should get a sponsor from them.
We should.
Just talk to them.
It's not a bad idea, actually.
So yeah, you don't need to make your place like a hazardous Alcatraz. You don't need razor wire out front. If you want to do that, that's fine. But you just want it to be comfortable and safe and take a lot of the worry away of protecting those indoors.
Yeah.
And assigning things out to, the different members of your family so that they can help.
Yes. Yeah.
And consider home invasion or defense. What if things go really bad? Where are you all going to like go to one room and how, and protect yourselves. So finances, we talked about the importance of an emergency fund. That's the first thing that you really need to work on is having available cash and not having it all in one place, but enough to get you by without work and, to pick up
I'll
other
bet
places.
you a lot of people wish they would have had an emergency fund this year. You know how many people were laid off, fired,
It's crazy.
couldn't
and
work
still
for
can't
months?
go back to work.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Boy, don't you wish you would have had 3 to 6 months worth of funds
and
in
it's
your
huge,
bank
and that's
account?
very hard to do, but we all go through these cycles of like a good year, a bad year.
Yeah,
It's like,
for sure.
But adding a little bit is going to get you so much further and take so much stress
And
off.
don't touch it, man. That's the hard part.
That
Just
is the
don't
hard part.
touch it.
Because we've had envelopes and stuff where we're like, well, we got to go to the movies. Let's just take 20 out of it. And then before you know it, you're like,
it's gone.
Where did $500 go?
Exactly. Yep.
But that's great. Yeah, not to touch it. And then don't touch it.
Don't. Yeah. Stop touching it.
And then gear. This is where it can get expensive. Try to buy the things that are more practical when you camp. The things that are going to have multiple uses. Tents, they can always be used indoors when you're, kids love that.
For sure.
Setting up a camp indoor. But we've talked about this with different, like if things are really shady outside, you move to one room or you lose power and you have to deal with the cold, move to one room and
put up
set
a tent.
up your camp.
Yep.
So, but camp foods and stuff, they store longer. Camp supplies make cooking easier and cooking in a tent or indoor. There's a lot of different supplies there. So thinking about these supplies for a majority, like your family, because you can use them and have fun with them when, things are normal. But if things go south, they already know how to use them. They've seen them. And so anyways, camping stuff and gear is kind of an easier thing, even though it's expensive.
And it's dual purpose.
Yeah.
Again, for the family, you know.
So skills, we got a book recently in one of the survival box of tying knots.
Oh, yeah.
And I sat down with my oldest son and we tied all kinds of different stuff.
Yeah, that's
so
awesome.
you can just incorporate those different skills for fun. Like we made like a cross, it's cool.
Yeah.
Learn how to tie pieces of wood together. But you can get books aren't going to be affected by EMPs. There's rare cases where you're going to have a fire, you're going to have to abandon them, but they're always there and you can always continue to learn from them. So I think that's the one thing with skills is learning them now and then ones that you plan to, like, have ways to read and learn.
And then, and talk to each family member. What are they interested in? What are the things that excite them? And then say, okay, what skills can be used in an SHTF scenario? And then, move those things towards that person and let them have fun with it,
Yep. And I was never a big Boy Scout, but I do remember
You were
some
a
of the
small
things.
Boy Scout.
Yeah. But I remember some of the things that I learned in those, like different skills. So get them involved in those kinds of things. And then back to health and fitness.
Mm-hmm.
Cardio is huge. I mean,
absolutely.
I learned the hard way. It was an eye opener to realize no matter how much, no matter how dirty you think you could get in a fight to save yourself, if you're spent,
it
like
doesn't
if
matter.
you're exhausted,
Doesn't
they will
matter.
just have their way with you.
Yep.
Somebody that's even remotely more, maybe you're even a little more skilled. If you are out of breath, you're toast.
Exactly.
It's
over
scary,
with.
man.
It's over
So
with.
get in shape.
And it's usually like 30 seconds, and then it's gone.
Instant.
Because that adrenaline rush hits, boom.
Yeah.
You expend that energy, and then you're...
If you lift somebody or try and roll, like all your energy's gone.
Yeah.
It's pretty sad. So getting fit, getting cardio health, and that helps too with the whole medical thing. Getting rid of medications, preventing the need for medications.
Yep.
So, but physical fitness is huge for many reasons. You're eating healthier. You're learning how to be more efficient with what you eat, getting more out of what you eat. There's a whole bunch that goes into the health and fitness.
And that could be something that you do as an entire family, right? Because you all eat dinner together at least.
Exactly.
And maybe breakfast. So that's something that you can take upon yourself. Like, we're eating healthy.
Yeah.
At least a few meals
I've
a day.
been trying to figure out ways to get my kids into more activity. Like, because it helps them sleep. It helps their anxiety.
For sure.
It helps
everything.
It's huge.
Yeah, that physical activity is so good for kids, man.
Yeah.
It's
so
crazy.
you want to be healthy, though, because you don't want the guy that read the book about a root canal the night before to do your root canal.
You don't want it, no.
Like, you want to be healthy to prevent those things.
Yes.
Brushing your teeth and all that. So anyways. Whew,
that's
a lot.
great. Yeah. So a lot of people, something you don't think about as being a family member is a pet. Like, because sometimes they're more important than some of the children, which is crazy, right? Yep. So you have to think about them. You need to have specific preps ready for them, just like you would any other member of the family, right? If you don't prep ahead in an SHTF scenario, they're going to be a huge burden. There's going to be a pain in the butt to figure out, what are we doing with the dog? What are we doing with the cat, the goldfish, or whatever it might be? Have a plan, right? Yeah. And one of the things is to make sure that they're not a pain in the ass all the time. So if they're a dog, make sure it's trained. Yeah. Don't let it just be some random this dog that just runs around, tears shit up, and barks all day long.
Which a
lot of them are. So there's nothing worse than an SHTF scenario trying to get him to jump in the car and they're chasing the fire truck down the street. Yeah. Right. You just try and make sure that they're trained. And if you have a cat or a hamster, whatever, good luck because you can't train them. Right?
But I think it's a great idea because think of the moral blow to your kids if you did not prepare for your dog and watch it starve to death.
Oh my gosh, because if my kids were like, my wife would be like, Dad died because we weren't ready. They'd be like, oh, that sucks. The dog died. It would be like 10 times worse if the dog dies. Yeah. Like, I'm not even joking you either. So you have to have a plan. So, make sure you've got food and water ready for them for either a bug out scenario or a bug in scenario. You got to have extra, right? Yeah. You can also, if you have a dog, they can have their own bug out bag. They have those packs for dogs. Let them carry their own food. Yeah. Okay? Yep. Use them if you can. You get like a little collapsible water bowl that you can just throw in your bug out bag and go. You know what I mean? Or they can
We have a pet fish. I'd highly encourage you to either kill it now or just cook it first thing when...
The nice thing is fish die about every 3 weeks.
And kids really aren't that attentive.
No, yeah.
I don't think so.
Mobility. Let's pray that you don't have to carry this pet in a bug out scenario. But if you do, make sure you have a cage or something. Yeah. To take your snake with you.
You could end up in a shelter.
You could.
Because you freaking lose everything.
You don't know. You could be in a FEMA camp. Yeah. You don't want your snake just like going around. So make sure you have a cage.
Yeah, you don't want your snake.
Yeah. Get that snake back. I'm sorry, my snake gets out of hand when I get around people. So think about that.
Super awkward.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Snake's getting in there.
Get back in there. Also, chips identification, and I don't mean like tortilla chips. I'm talking about the chips identification chips, It may get agitated, may get nervous, and just bolt.
Yeah.
And if so, you want to be able to get it back. So having it chipped and having a collar with an ID tag and all those kind of things is going to be a good idea.
Yeah.
So anyways, I'm not going to get too much into that,
I
but
think the hard thing for pets for me is like preparing for their poop and their pee and all that crap. So,
yeah.
yeah, I
all
know.
that crap. Yeah. Yeah.
But like that's something that I probably would not have stocked up enough of.
Poop and pee?
No,
What are you talking about?
the stuff to take care of their poop and pee.
Oh, I just let my dog go outside.
I know, but that'll build up over time if you're in the one place forever.
Sure.
You don't mow your lawn or anything.
Yeah, I know.
But like cats are a huge
Yeah.
nightmare that way.
Yeah, they totally
Hamsters, they freaking poop 10 times more than any animal.
are. Do
I'm
they?
pretty sure. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It's
Never had one.
disgusting.
So let's talk about bugging out with a family. Ooh, boy, this gets nutty, right? And the first thing we think about with bugging out is bug out bags. If you don't know what a bug out bag is, you haven't been listening long, but basically it's a bag that will get you through an emergency situation, at least get you out of it alive for 72 hours, right? So when you have a family, you have to think about everybody else, not just yourself.
Yeah.
You selfish prick.
This is where you get the tandem bike.
Exactly. Yeah, the tandem bug out bike.
Oh, they'll make those.
I don't know, man. So this is especially true if you have small kids, right? Toddlers, babies, those types of
Babies.
things. Babies. So as Cam talked about before with the kids,
Leave a note for whoever finds them, how to take care of them.
this one's good. This
Good
one's
luck.
not as easy. So good luck with them.
Yeah.
They come with very specific challenges in an SHTF scenario. The children's do. So here's some things to think about. If you have a baby or a really, really small kid, think about making your bug out bag.
Or a kid that acts like a baby.
No, not even that. If they're small and you have to carry them, think about getting like a combo bug out bag / carrier.
Yeah.
Right? Because
the carrier we have can pack a ton of crap in it.
there you go. Perfect. That's what you need. Because can you imagine trying to carry like a baby in your arms, like hiking 10 miles or
Yeah.
something?
With a
Not
hook
fun.
hand, impossible.
Impossible. You could put them in the microwave,
You
though.
could hook them.
You could put them in the microwave, shut the door, and then just hold it.
That's a good idea.
You know what I mean?
Keep your kids safe
Yeah.
and avoid riots.
Yeah, I mean, what if there's a nuclear bomb or some sort
Freaking
of
microwave
radiation?
carrier. Why?
I know.
That's a selling.
If there's a radiation event, they're going to be fine in the microwave, which is great. So you're going to have to think about diapers. If you know babies like I do, they poop and they peep a lot.
A lot.
Okay, so you got to be careful with that. So you need to have diapers in your bug out bag. They just take up a crap ton of space.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
So you could think about getting those
Cloth diapers.
cloth ones. Ew.
Yeah,
that's all I have
you've
to
gotta
say,
do
but you
some
can think about
cleaning.
it. Yeah, you got to think about it.
Waste a lot of water, but
Yeah. Formula. Babies drink a lot of stuff. If they don't breastfeed, you got to have formula.
Yeah.
Or they die.
you're not going to be carrying 4 gallons of milk, so you got to take a powdered form.
Yeah. So even if you are breastfeeding, sometimes it's nice to let somebody else feed the baby.
No. Let somebody else carry the breast milk.
Yeah.
I don't carry these.
I don't care. Pacifier. If you have a baby that needs a pacifier all the time to stop yelling and screaming,
Yes.
have an
Don't
extra
worry
one.
about what people think about your
Have an extra one
older
in your
kid using a pacifier. If they shut,
My
if they shut up,
9-year-old will shut up as soon as I give her the pacifier. But have an extra one in your bug out bag.
Yeah.
Because
you
boy,
always have to have an extra one.
Yeah.
Because there's never been a bigger panic than when
Yeah.
you're like,
Actually,
"Where's that big
have
egg?"
two or three in different sections of the bug out bag, just in case.
You might want 5.
Baby medicine. If you leave, they're gonna throw up. Okay? If you go out of the house, they throw up. So have something to help them. That's my
As soon as you
rule.
walk out the door,
As soon as I get past the front steps,
yep,
or they poop,
and
or they start
crap
bleeding.
themselves. Yeah.
One of the three: puke, poop, or bleed. As soon as you leave the house.
Mm-hmm.
So that's for little babies. Okay. Now let's talk about the 5 to 10
They
year
have
olds.
the tactical baby gear
Yeah.
that I got.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It's good
The
stuff.
whole back plate part pulls down, so you can change them on a clean surface.
Something like that would be great for a
But yeah, they
baby
have
bug
some
out
cool
bag.
stuff.
Then you get to the 5 to 10 year olds. At this point in their life, it's time for them to have their own bug out bags. Okay. The younger kids, they're gonna have to have a light one. You can't put like 10 gallons of
No,
water
you can't.
in there.
You can't have
You
a
know.
mountain pack.
Yeah, it's not gonna work.
It's 15 inches longer than.
So just think about basic clothing for them, some very basic survival gear, a little bit of food, a little bit of water, some candy, and
one box of 50 cal
one box of fruit snacks.
fruit snacks.
Yeah. these little pricks get annoying. So you have to have something for them to do.
Distract what they're. They won't realize they're carrying 50 pounds.
Exactly. So have some toys. Have something to entertain them in that bag. That's key. And
You know, like the poles with the carrot. Poles with TikTok or
just swinging
a
in front of
device,
them.
and so there's like walk.
So think about, books, coloring stuff, Legos, something that they like. And even let them pick it out. This is what I think is key. Don't pick it out for them. Whatever this
true.
is, let them pick
They
it
have to
out.
have the
Because
decision.
when they gets to an SHTF scenario and they go, Dad, this is stupid. I'm like, you picked it out. You deal with it. It's your fault. Okay? So think about that. They're going to complain the whole way on a bug out scenario, especially if it's cold. So have some hand
Or
warmers.
hot. Or warm or neutral.
You're just gonna complain. But if it's cold, if you have some hot hands, that helps. Not like you know what I mean? The hand warmers. Okay. Also have extra
I have
band-aids.
extra gloves. These hands are sweaty.
Yeah.
My hands are sweaty.
You had those the whole time. Extra band-aids. You gotta have them for those. Okay, now let's talk about the tweens and the teens. Their bags should be fully stocked like your bug out bag. They can handle some weight. If they're older, even consider maybe some hunting gear, some self-defense stuff, a knife, survival knife, all those types of things.
They feel bad carrying that stuff.
100%.
My kids always want to carry a knife, and I hate it. I'm like,
I
no,
know.
you're not ready for a knife.
You will kill yourself.
Or kill me.
Elderly family members, this is going to have to be a case-by-case basis, okay? That you might have to go back to the 5 to 10-year-old type bags for them. Just yarn, knitting needles, and I don't know, a Highway to Heaven Weekly, whatever it might be. So just think about that, or whatever they might need.
Burnett tape
Carol
playing in the back.
Yeah, exactly. But you might want to have their meds and things like that
Maybe.
that they might need.
You
Maybe.
need to teach them how to get off those meds.
Yeah. So then your wife or /partner /girlfriend, boyfriend bug out bags, they should have basically the same thing that you do. Okay. And the nice
Winter
thing,
bags.
they need to be matching. And then
Girl's choice.
Yeah, girl's choice.
Or man's choice.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But the nice thing is you can start to distribute stuff to their bags, so you're not carrying everything. Cookware, all that, bricks, rocks.
This is way heavier. It isn't. I
Yeah.
promise you. Can I wear yours?
Yeah.
No.
So just think about that. But each bag needs to have the
sexist cookware and
Yeah.
iron.
ironing board.
You want the essentials in your wife's bag. Right?
Yes.
Sorry, I was just kidding.
Treadmill. I don't know.
I don't know what's important for them.
You think they can think about it, but make sure that each bag has the essentials for water, food, fire, shelter, first aid. Right? What are you laughing
Try
at?
not to laugh about that. Oh.
And then again,
It's nice knowing you.
as a
Kobe.
family, go through this stuff at least once a year.
Yeah, that's the hard thing too.
Yeah.
I've gone into those and I'm like, who ate the fruit snacks?
Yeah.
These were backup. Like open bags that have been
Yeah.
stuffed back in there. They're hard as a rock because they've been half eaten.
I know. Oh, that drives me nuts throwing the packages back in. Ooh,
Yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah. It's
just like trying to get into their Halloween candy and it's all garbage.
Yeah.
It's all garbage. Like,
it's all mixed up.
you guys need to learn.
They don't learn.
Cam talked a little bit about this, but skills, and especially for a bug out scenario, it's
Bug
pretty
skills.
Bug skills. It's a pretty good idea that they have some basic skills. Like talk about fire starting,
Yeah.
water purification. I mean, you don't have to know how to like build a solar still or something like that, but like know how to use the basic water purification devices and stuff like that,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Basic navigation, which way's north, south, east, west? How do you
True.
use a compass? Basic hunting skills, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Shelter building. Can they build a shelter if they need to? And cooking. Those types of things. I don't know. Think about it.
Teach them whatever you want.
I don't know. Do
Teach 'em
whatever you
whatever
want.
Yeah.
And then a bug out plan. Just make sure if you have a family, your plan needs to be pretty detailed, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's going to get.
It really does.
It's going to be a
Like,
mess.
You can't just say, bug out this location. Well, I don't do that.
What do I do, Dad?
Did you wait for you to pick me up?
Yeah, but and also think about that because if you have small children and your bug out plan is hiking 10 miles uphill, boy, you're a dummy. Okay, so just that's not going to work. So you have to cater it to what your family makeup is.
Exactly.
So just think about your bug out plan. Okay.
Yep. Considering bugging in with your family. So this is what most of us will probably do is to stay where all of our supplies are and all of our comfort is.
Mm-hmm.
But you do need to prepare with your family for these things because, like I said, you may be isolated to one room. You may have somebody that's sick and you need to quarantine to one side. But activities and things to do, if say you lose power, you've got to have ways to not kill each other. You got to have things to occupy them and to make things fun and seem normal. That's, the goal is to really just
You want it to
make
be normal. Yell at 'em all the time.
That's true.
Dad's not yelling. Something's wrong. Something's wrong. Dad hasn't yelled at me in 2 hours.
I'm trying to keep things calm. Oh, something's wrong.
I'm
What's
not
going
used
on
to
outside,
this.
Dad? Yeah. But yeah, you need to have chores and things like that. Like set up. You try to keep things as normal as possible, and that may include yelling at them all the time. But prepare for basically hunkering down. So, like right now, I've been thinking of what if one of us does come down with coronavirus. That quarantine can be horrible.
Yeah.
Because you could go until all of a sudden your spouse becomes sick, and then you got another 12 days, and then you've got your kids can't go to school, and there's another, and you really can't go anywhere unless people are getting stuff for you. So you got to think about how to prepare to counter the mind loss that's going to happen. And so, just different things, activities, devices and stuff people discourage to have for kids, but that will save your butt in a lot of different scenarios to have some ways to entertain them both that way. And, But the bugging in thing, we kind of went through with most of this, but I just wanted to mention like those key things of like keeping people sane, and having things to do so that the kids don't drive you nuts and that they don't feel there's the stress of what's going on or why they're not able to go outside and play and things like that. So that's the gist of it.
That's prepping with a family.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
That's how you do it. But there's
I don't
a
know
lot.
what your family is.
Yeah.
But
I don't either. But hopefully something in here will help.
Yeah.
As you prep
to
for
get
this
them
family.
involved. I don't know.
Get them involved.
Just have them go get coloring books for power outage.
Activity books.
Just start there. But yeah.
Oh, thanks. Okay, so today's podcast is brought to you by TacPack, the only monthly tactical subscription box with useful professional grade stuff inside. Use code CasualPreppers, get a free separate bag sent of EDC gear along with your first month's TacPack. Head to TacPack.com, use our code CasualPreppers. You get free stuff, man.
Yeah.
It's great. And if you have an AR, this is like so perfect.
Yeah.
Because they have so much cool AR gear.
You're getting way good. You're getting the freaking still from them. I don't know how they do it.
I don't know either.
They are stealing from people, I think.
And also, I don't know.
Not from people that are subscribing, but to get the boxes ready for you.
We also have the latest battle box.
Yeah, we do.
Mission 69. It's a great mission. Great mission number. Okay. The first thing we have in the basic box is the Lord and Field blanket/sleeping bag strap.
Oh, the strap.
Yeah, that's your gag strap that you had out a minute ago.
I was saying this was, what is this for?
You sounded like Bane saying that.
What is this for?
What is this for?
Why would you get a strap without...
I was born in the strap. Yeah, it's a $25 value, so it's great for
It is kind of nice to like have something to... Because I have my blankets kicking around all together. Yes. But like keeping stuff tidy in your bug-out vehicle.
Yeah, it's great. And then we have the Piranha Fishbone 2.0 knotless rope tie. It's kind of a cool thing. Fishbone. It's great for strapping stuff down with this little tie. It's a cool little deal. $10 value. The next thing is the Sun Company zipper
straps and tie down.
Zipper comp. So this is a great zipper pull that has a compass on it.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah, so you always have it with you. I put it on my jeans, and I have that thing hanging off my dingle-dangle.
Which way's McDonald's?
Which way's... You're holding your crotch.
Well, you got to go east.
East, west.
And then...
I like to go east-west. We'll get there.
I get disoriented in buildings sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. Then we got the Zippo Typhoon match kit. This is the best all-weather matches I've ever used.
Yeah, until a piece breaks off.
No, that was the other one. Wasn't those ones.
It wasn't?
No.
Yeah.
It was the cheapy ones, remember?
These are like a firework. Like, they just burn hot.
They do. It's like an RPG.
It's
Yeah,
like a
it's great.
fuse.
Yeah.
Cannon fuse.
Cannon fuse. Then we get to the advanced box and we get the Lord and Field wool blanket.
This thing's the bomb, man.
it is.
I love these.
It's a sexy
This
blanket.
matches my truck carpet.
It does.
I'm going to put that in my truck.
Carpet matches the drapes. Drapes match the carpet.
Yep.
Blanket matches the carpet.
But these wool blankets are so freaking nice.
They're
Even
great.
for like just a picnic.
It sure is, yeah.
Sticks won't poke up in your bum hole.
Yeah, you never like that. Then we got the Pro Box with the Coleman Deluxe Perfect Flow lantern with hard case.
That's nice. It's all tucked away, ready to go.
Yeah, it's got a hard case. It's great. And then we get to the Pro Plus, the Civivi Plethysros 904 series knife.
Thanos?
Yes, $75 value. Great little EDC knife.
It's cool. It comes in a little nice case.
Yep.
Really interesting looking blade.
Yeah. This is an offshoot of Wee Knives, I think. The Civivi.
Really lightweight.
Mhm.
And sharp.
So that's mission 69. Go check them out at battlebox.com. Use our code Casual Preppers. You got to get a free knife when you get your first order. Can't beat that.
Nope.
It's time for the quick and dirty medical tip.
Here's my medical tip.
Okay.
We have talked about it.
Okay. Great.
I think what we'll do, there's no tip today. Sorry. Is I think we're going to just put out a little medical tip video. Go back
Yeah.
and some of the ones we've done. It's some of it is just easier to see in person. Live, not live, but on a video.
Yeah, it's
So-
like, how do you explain a prostate exam? You have to show it.
Right. So we're gonna do just
Yeah.
some of the medical tips on YouTube.
Yeah.
So little brief one weekly, and then you can see in action how Band-Aids put on.
Exactly. I'm
Maybe
excited for it.
taken off.
It's gonna be great.
So I don't
Hopefully-
have anything for you today. You guys have heard enough from us.
Hopefully start next week.
Yes.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys subscribing. Make sure to come see us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Parlor, all the places, TikTok, anywhere. Come see us. Okay.
there.
Okay. Stay survived.